Judicial Service petitions government to reconsider relocating its training school and residence for some of its judges over the construction of the National Cathedral.
Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU directs dismissed and aggrieved workers of defunct Beige Bank to seek redress at the Labour Commission.
Also ahead this evening, President Akufo-Addo urges Nigeria to sign up to the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
In business, freight forwarders divided over implementation of cargo tracking note system.
And on the international front this evening, a judge in Uganda grants bail to popular musician turned politician Bobby Wine and 32 opposition politicians. Stay with us here throughout the bulletin on News 360. We'll bring the details of these stories and much more news. As always, the bulletin is streaming live all across the world on 3news.com and TV3 Ghana on Facebook. You could also watch us on DSTV channel 279. In our very first story this evening, the announcement of the proposed site for the National Cathedral has reignited the debate about the relevance of such an edifice and its cost implications for a state with several unfulfilled policies. The Judicial Service, which has its training school and residence for some of its judges, has petitioned government to reconsider the decision to relocate them after being served quit orders. Wendy Laye was at the proposed site and reports.
Here at the Scholarship Secretariat, and this is one of the buildings that will be demolished to pave way for the construction of the National Cathedral. President Akufo-Addo on March 6, 2017 cut sword for the construction of the National Cathedral. While some Ghanaians have raised concerns about this, others are in favor of the construction of the National Cathedral.
The proposed site currently houses the Passport Office, the Judicial Training Institute, residence of some judges, and the Scholarship Secretariat. The cathedral, when completed, would add up to the number of high-profile and essential state edifices in the area, which already houses the State House, Parliament, the Accra International Conference Centre, the Sports Stadium. Quit notices served occupants hasn't gone down well with some residents who have petitioned the President to reconsider the location for the 5,000-seater cathedral. Others have reawakened the debate on national priority and the cost to the state in terms of the value of the land in the prime area.
Though I'm a Muslim, a program can send me there. So I am all out for it. But they shouldn't use it as a political gimmick or something, because it's there to serve, whether you being a Muslim, a Christian, an MPP, an NDC, a CPP, is there to serve everybody.
I would choose that, leave these people here, move the cathedral somewhere outside town small, maybe near, you can look for a place at Pram Pram area or Sawam area, put it there, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be in the city.
I'm for it, but where it's going to be situated, that's where I had a problem with. You know, it has to be on a different place so that people will get, that place will be developed and other places too will be developed through the new cathedral that is situated maybe around Dodowa area or near Afenya or somewhere. That will also spring up new residential listings through that. But where they are going to do it, I'm not for it at that place, but I'm for it at another place.
But spokesperson for government in charge of infrastructure, Richard Asante, says government has found alternative bungalows for the judges in anticipation of 21 new houses that will come at no cost to government. He explained the only cost that government is bearing is that of the land, and that at no point is government putting taxpayers' money to the building of the cathedral.
Government is not doing anything untoward as far as this whole arrangement is concerned. What government is doing is that government is not committing a penny or a cedi towards the construction of this cathedral. What government is doing is that government is facilitating, government is providing leadership in terms of this whole enterprise. Government is giving a land as its equity, and a 30-member trustee that was put together on the 16th of March 2017 by His Excellency the President, comprising the Christian leadership in this country. They are going to go out there and solicit for funds and do fundraising and to put together this edifice.
An issue some citizens have varying views on.
The churches can raise that money, give it to government put it at a better place.
As to whether the cathedral is the most important investment in the country's current dispensation is an issue for posterity to judge. But many believe the National Cathedral could become like one of the many treasured national monuments across the world.
Now, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union has directed dismissed workers of the defunct Beige Bank to seek redress at the National Labour Commission if they feel aggrieved. Its General Secretary Solomon Kute was reacting to the purported dismissal of 700 workers of the defunct Beige Bank.
The ICU urged the aggrieved workers to study their contracts with Beige Bank before the takeover. If it is stated that the contract agreement allows them to work for 2 years, the managers of Consolidated Bank have breached the agreement.
If in that letter you have said that if I don't need you anymore, I give you 1 month notice, or I don't need you anymore, I give you this period of notice, and you also consented and signed, okay, and they come by that and they apply that on you, it will be difficult for you to go back to Labour Commission or to any other place to say that I have not been fairly treated. That is why condition of service to every employee must be taken seriously. You must know the conditions under which you are entering the job and the conditions under which you can bar out of the job.
The 700 workers who have been laid off are not part of those on a 60-day probation by the Consolidated Bank. The Bank of Ghana is reported to have proposed to the dismissed workers to go into car rental business and other opportunities. Though the ICU lauded the BOG for such an initiative, it's rather emphasized on training for other job opportunities.
In every redundancy exercise in ICU, we add a training bit. The training bit will also advise the workers at the time of the exit that, well, once upon a time you used to be a clerical officer, a banking officer, or what have you. But for this period that you now be chasing and looking for other jobs, this money is in your hands. Either do this investment or some mini trade to turn around to see your money actually grow than to spend and not generate. That will get you finish your money in no time.
The union has since asked government to roll out job creation opportunities for the retrenched staff.
Now, still in the banking sector, founder and general overseer of Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, is asking Christians to shut up on the role of Pastor Mensa Otabil that he played in the collapse of Capital Bank. As hundreds have lost their jobs as a result of the collapse of the bank, the Action Chapel overseer says Ghanaians have no right to question the role Otabil played. Kamla Kluche reports.
And we pray for those handling the situation, and that mercy will triumph where it's needed in this matter.
The comments by the Bishop of the Action Chapel on the financial scandal that has left many out of jobs and the bank itself taken over by the Ghana Commercial Bank. A boldest report revealed how managers of the bank and board members were complicit in what the BOG has described as criminal, and he's been investigated by the Economic and Organized Crime Office.
I know that most of you in church are aware that in the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of interesting things happening.
The head pastor of the ICGC, Mensa Otabil, has come under a barrage of criticisms for his role as a board chair of the defunct Capital Bank. The non-executive board chairman of the bank, in the statement earlier this month, said some decisions that were made turn out well, while some did not turn out well as had been anticipated. Similarly, pressure has mounted on social media on the ICGC founder and general overseer, and he had this as a response to his congregation.
My first statement is that God is good. My second statement is that God is good. And my third statement is that God is good.
But the Archbishop is not enthused about comments on the saga.
The Bible says, judge not that you may not be judged. So shut your mouth. Stop talking about things you don't understand.
In his opinion,
I heard about the situation with Dr. Mensa Otabil. I want to caution every Christian, shut your mouth.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
And let God's glory and anointing fill this house.
Now, the Electoral Commission is yet to provide the cost in creating the 6 new regions. Deputy Minister for Regional Reorganization, Martin J. Kosa, made this known on Sunrise on 3FM.
The Electoral Commission has set December 27 for the referendum on the creation of 6 new regions, namely Bono East, Ahafo, Western North, and Oti. The rest are Northeast and Savannah. 47 new districts will be created out of the new regions. The Deputy Minister of Regional Reorganization, Martin J. Kosa, on 3FM's morning show, Sunrise, said the cost for the creation of the additional regions is not known since the commissioners of the Electoral Commission just took office.
The cost we can know if we do an aggregate. That's what I'm saying, that the Electoral Commission is the mother organization doing this exercise.
But have you done the aggregates now?
The EC is supposed to furnish a country with that.
The EC has not furnished the country.
They will furnish us with that. The EC took office barely 3 weeks ago.
So the point is that as we speak, we don't have those figures. You
can have it. It is wrong to say we don't, because you just have to do a little collation of what role EC is going to do.
So that collation hasn't been done.
It hasn't been done by the Electoral Commission who has.
So the cost is unknown for now.
It's unknown. I cannot provide that for you now. But then it goes to buttress the point that it's unknown to the extent that all the figures being bandied around are not true.
The 932 million.
It's all not true, and so people should stop it.
Some chiefs and opinion leaders, particularly in the Volta region, have petitioned the president against the decision. A demonstration by the coalition of Volta youth groups called for a halt to the process, but rather a revamp of regions.
I beg to differ that the cost of paying 2 people as a minister and deputy is why the region proposed with all the accompanying developments should not happen. Is that a fair assessment to make? I think we are oversimplifying this matter. If we were to adopt those people's claim, and that let's go and revamp or retool the districts, it's going to accrue in equally higher numbers of employment.
The creation of new regions was a major campaign promise of both the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party.
President Akufo-Addo has charged members of the legal fraternity on the African continent to uphold the integrity of the profession and ensure the rule of law is upheld at all times. He was addressing the 58th Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association in Abuja, Nigeria.
President Akufo-Addo recounted the recognition given to the profession, but bemoaned practitioners who have not always done themselves proud.
The sad truth is that there have always been lawyers ready to find a way to justify some negative developments, no matter how bizarre. It is not surprising, therefore, that sometimes our profession has attracted the most cynical of comments. I hasten to add that this is not a new phenomenon, as the legal profession has been bashed throughout the ages, be it from Shakespeare and the much argued over, quote, "First, let's kill all the lawyers," or the line from Charles Dickens's Oliver Twist, "The law is an ass, an idiot."
He noted the disparaging comments on the profession, particularly on fees charged for services or the judicial process, which many feel does not deliver justice on them. He urged lawyers on the continent to be aware of these criticisms and respond in a manner that asserts the integrity of the legal profession and its determination to uphold the rule of law.
Our 2 countries, and indeed Africa, have certainly come a long way, but we should not take it for granted that everybody has accepted democracy as the preferred mode of governance. There are those who would rather have authoritarian rule because they claim Africa is underdeveloped And democracy is cumbersome, and we need to get things done in a hurry. There are some who still believe that democracy is a luxury we cannot afford on the continent. We undoubtedly have some work to do to convince such people that we are all safer under democracy.
You're watching News 360, and on MTN Video Report today, our citizen journalist Margaret Kotofu highlights the air pollution at Achuma-Brofiedu in the Ashanti region.
This is the refuse dumping place of Achuma-Brofiedu off Obuasi Road. Those of us who stay near here can't stay inside our rooms until this smoke dies down. We are suffering. I don't know what they use the money they collect for the refuse dumping for. There are houses near here. This house is uncompleted, but the house behind us is very completed. People can't stay here. Babies are here. And the children are all standing outside because we are afraid to be inside our rooms. We may get our houses burnt. From Achuma-Brofiedu off Obuasi Road, a citizen journalist.
Thank you, Citizen Margaret. We really like that report. Please send us more. You can also send your video report via WhatsApp on 0551 433 044. Your News 360 will return shortly with the business report of the day.
You're still watching News 360. Good evening to you, and thanks for staying with us. Time for business with me, Nanekuya Mensah Brampan. Looking at developments from the world of business, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders Association has begun a strike in protest against the implementation of the cargo tracking notes, that is the CTN system. Now, the three-day protest is to force government to suspend the new system before its policy of complete compliance takes off on September 1.
Per the policy of complete compliance, vessels will not load containers without CTN numbers at the port of loading. The CTN, which took effect July 1, was introduced by the government to track all imports to Ghana to reduce revenue losses associated with under-declaration of goods at the ports. But the associations maintain that the system, which was implemented with minimal stakeholder consultation, will defeat the government's purpose for implementation and rather lead to a duplication of systems already in place at the ports. The groups want further consultation with stakeholders on the system if government wants the strike suspended. President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Kwabena Ofoso-Appiah, explained the reason for their strike in a telephone interview.
See, if you set up a bureaucracy, because you can agree with me that CTN is an added bureaucracy. If it is not available, if there are downtimes, the shipper cannot just ship. You see, if you have established another bureaucracy, people who must interface with that bureaucracy are charging. Okay? The forwarder outside there is charging for the process. The usage of the CTN system itself, they say government is absorbing it now. That in itself is a strange claim. That is also, the user fee is a fee. The shipping lines have rearranged their setup to be able to enforce the CTN code on the bill of lading. They are also charging.
The freight fraternity, made up of about 800 corporate entities, want to know why letters from the presidency announcing a postponement of the CTN dated February 16, 2018 and May 28 had been ignored by the Ghana Revenue Authority and rather started piloting from July 1. They also wondered why the Ghana Revenue Authority had not connected the CTN system to existing platforms such as GCNet and indicated that all the national trade data would be in the hands of the operators who could manipulate it.
Well, meanwhile, 3 former presidents of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders do not support the action taken by the current leadership of the association. In their view, implementation of the CTN would promote a fair playing field for all industry players. Presidents of GIF. The strike by the current leadership is confusing at a time when consultations are still ongoing and all challenges being resolved.
Because we believe it will create an even field for everybody. Once the documents are collected outside this country, nobody in Ghana can change anything to influence taxes for anybody.
Other groups, including the frozen food importers, are also in support of the implementation of the CTN. According to them, some frozen food imports have closed their cold stores and out of business due to existing and unfair valuation and duties that are charged. The former presidents of GIF wants members of the association who are against the strike to go about their normal duties without fear.
Togo is paying $300 per container. So if you have a bill of lading with 2 containers, you pay $600. And other African countries, Ghana is the cheapest. Because we said it should be done free, people outside are taking advantage. But they don't understand why CTN should be free. So
they have further pledged their support to work with the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure the full implementation of the CTN scheduled for September 1. Away from the ports now, and President Akufo-Addo has urged Nigeria to give its assent to the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. And according to the president, Nigeria stands to gain with its dynamic population, sense of enterprise of her people and size of her economy.
Akufo-Addo, who was addressing the 58th Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association in Abuja, Nigeria, noted Africa's small countries will continue to struggle if they do not join forces. The accelerated economic integration of committed nations, he said, will breathe new life into the African Union and deliver the benefits of African integration to the doorsteps of the African people.
It is my fervent hope that Africa's largest economy, Nigeria, will very soon assent to this agreement. Nigeria, with a dynamic population, sense of enterprise of her people, and the size of her economy, is an automatic leader of any regional or continental market.
In 2000, intra-regional trade accounted for 10% of Africa's total trade and increased marginally to 11% in 2015. Trading amongst members of the European Union, for example, amounted to 70% in 2015.
A major deficit of our economic development has been the low level of intra-African trade that has characterized the performance of our economies up till now. I believe it is extremely important for the welfare of the 1.2 billion people of the continent that we all demonstrate strong political will to operationalize the African common market.
The success of the Continental Free Trade Area, according to the President, would promote the peace and security of the continent.
All right, so let's talk about agriculture and digitization, moving from paperless. And this group, known as ISOCO, is an information and communication service for agricultural markets in Africa. Now, it is a response to the growth of cellular services across the continent, and ISOCO is a pioneering group that enables government institutions, NGOs, projects and businesses transact and communicate more effectively with beneficiaries as well as clients. Tonight we'll be talking about Insight, which is an ISOCO offering that provides technology and field deployment solutions for small, medium and large-scale surveys. And joining us in the studios tonight to explore more on this product is Castro Intridanso, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing at ISOCO. Good to have you tonight.
Thank you.
Castro.
Thank you, Nalepia.
Now, tell us about this app, Insight. What really does it entail?
Well, Insight basically is a product that ISOCO has developed. You know, ISOCO has been known as an agricultural-based company, but we have become more than that. In order to provide agricultural information, you need to know the people that you're providing information to. So we've developed a tool that enables you to collect information and be able to manage that information. So essentially what we have done is to be able to put that solution in the hands of people, that you can be able to use this service to set up your own data collection activity and look at your own analysis of the data that you have to make better business decisions.
We talk about agriculture and digitization. What should people expect when they download this application?
Well, you should expect an app that is easy to use, very simple, not complicated, because usually what people would have with a data collection app is that they are afraid it's too techy, and so they are unable to set up the questions themselves to go and do that data collection. The major problem we have seen is that most people collect information using paper, and then you are looking at how government, for instance, in Ghana wants to digitize the economy, and we are looking at how you can use a paperless regime, which is digitization, the use of the cellular phone, to be able to collect data to make better decisions and also to create a better economy for this country.
Before developing this app, what has been the impact? You talk about government institutions. I'm sure the issue of planting for food and jobs comes in. What has been the impact looking at agriculture and the data collection methods that you use to do your discussions?
Okay, so Insight has been used for major projects in this country. Like you mentioned, the planting for food and jobs, the initial data collection for PFJ, for mapping of the farms, for collecting farmers' biometric information. We used Insight to do that. For LEAP, currently LEAP we use Insight to collect data on beneficiaries. That data we use what we call the PMT questionnaire. We collect the data, and it is an algorithm that automatically determines who is poor. That data is sent then to the ministry, and then the ministry then pays these beneficiaries through e-switch. So Insight has been used to make impact on the lives of people. What we are doing now is to put the tool in the hands of everybody else. People are collecting information on a daily basis, but they are not aware that they are collecting that information. They collect information using paper. You do fleet management, you do stock inventory. All that is information gathering, is data gathering. It's not the large-scale information that gathering that people see going on the field like a census. When you go into your office and you're collecting information on your logbook in the vehicle, it's data collection. You can digitize these things and then turn away from the paper. In fact, the paper has become one of the biggest things that has become problematic in this. And the problems with paper. And when you use paper, there are issues of transcription errors. When you use paper, data coming in from the outskirts to the center become a problem.
But Kasho, you agree with me that when you mention the outskirts for an application and looking at internet services, how would this application be accessible, especially to the rural communities, farmers within the rural communities, if I should be specific?
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Insight application. Our experiences have been brought to bear on the development of the application, because we have worked in the rural areas, understand the rural challenges. So we can collect that data in offline using Insight. You can collect data in offline mode. You know, internet access is a problem within the rural areas. Our application is able to collect data. Again, if you look at LEAP, a lot of the beneficiaries are in these rural areas, the remotest part of this country. But that is where we use Insight to collect information for use by the ministry to pay these poor people and improve their livelihoods. So Insight is developed specifically for those areas. So it is not a problem at all being used in the rural areas.
And who really benefits from this application? Is it just the farmers? I have a farmer here.
Yes.
She's Babina. Does she really benefit from this, or is just the rural farmers who will be benefiting?
We have a poultry farmer right now in Bekwai who uses Insight to check his daily activities on the farm. So his farm hands collect information on cracked eggs, number of hatched eggs, number of animals that have been killed, and all that information. And he sends that information in real time using his tablet. His owner, who is in Accra, can monitor the use of this or what's happening on his farm in Bekwai here in Accra. So the whole point is that instead of using paper to collect information that every business needs,
talking about
just digitizing it. And it fits right into what the government wants to do in terms of digitizing the economy. So move away from paper, go to www.insight.isoko.com, download the app, and use it to collect any data that you want to collect to make better business decisions.
All right, thank you so much. We're grateful for your time. I'm sure you would want to download that app there. Castro Entry Danso is the Director of Sales and Marketing at Isoko, and will be launching that application. So look out for that, and you know the website also. But that'll do for business tonight. There's more on 3news.com. My name is Nanikia Mensah Brampa. Stay tuned. News 360 continues after this. Good evening.
Welcome back to News 360. A look at some news on the international front now. A judge in Uganda has granted bail to popular musician turned politician Bobi Wine and 32 opposition politicians who are facing treason charges. They are accused of allegedly throwing stones at a vehicle in President Yoweri Museveni's convoy earlier this month. Bobi Wine, affectionately known as the Ghetto President, appeared on crutches in court. The army, who had detained him, denied reports that he had been beaten, calling the allegations rubbish. Bobi Wine, whose real name is Robert Kyaganuli, was arrested on August 13 after a campaign rally in the northwestern town of Aura.
In our international news tonight, the U.S. and Mexico have reached common ground on key trade terms as pressure mounts to complete renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement. U.S. President Donald J. Trump, a frequent critic of the existing deal, announced the apparent breakthrough on Monday. A final deal would need sign-off from Canada, the third country in the treaty, which governs more than $1 trillion in annual trade.
And there's some more international news on our website. It's 3news.com. Stay with us here on News 360 as up next is Entertainment with Miriam.
Hello there, it's a Monday. Let's do some entertainment news, starting with Talented Kids. Now, winners of Talented Kids Season 9 have received their prizes. The presentation was done by the General Manager of News, Beatrice Ajiman of TV3.
4 months after the 2018 Talented Kids, the 8 finalists have received the prize packages due them. The ultimate winner, Samuel Owusu, received 10,000 cedis cash prize with products from Indomie. Instrumentalist and first runner-up, Penel Dodu, walked away with 8,000 cedis cash prize with products from Indomie. The second runner-up, Hakim Isa, received 6,000 cedis and products from sponsors. The rest of the 5 finalists received 1,000 cedis each. Marketing manager for Indomie Ghana, Belosi Daharuna, encouraged the kids not to give up on their dreams.
People think intelligence is only about book. No, but the intelligence also comes in the form of talent. If you don't have intelligence, you can't do it. The way you guys play your band, trust me, if I should come and join you guys, I can't play it. So whatever you're doing, I would say that keep doing it and keep following your dreams.
Cited finalists expressed gratitude for the gesture.
I feel excited because they fulfilled their promise by giving me the 10,000 Ghana cedis and the 1,600 cash. That is for the Indomie. So I thank TV3 a lot.
Right now, I'm feeling very great, and I think it is going to help me build my career.
It was nice seeing the former contestants again, but away from that, but staying with music. Kenyan musicians who performed at the launch of Xylophone Media in Nigeria were left humiliated as the crowd remained irresponsive throughout their performance. Pundits see the development as a wake-up call for Guinean musicians not to limit themselves only to Ghana when promoting their works. They also called for proper legislation to protect local content.
It was a low moment for the Ghanaian headliners as they endured the torture of an unshaken crowd that simply refused to be moved. Promise and his latest hit song, CCTV, may be doing well in Ghana, but going by the reaction, fans had no interest in it. Ghana's music expert, Stoneboy, was equally snubbed. At some point, the uninterested crowd gazed elsewhere as the top musician sang with passion.
Never know your name gonna be over. Wherever you there, I know you missing me.
had his fair share of the cold reaction. But when Shatta Wale invited Nigeria's Burna Boy to perform the 2017 release Hosanna, the response grew. Yes, the Nigerians did hail and support their own, leaving many Ghanaian fans wondering if it was a deliberate plan to snub the Ghanaians. Was it that the Ghanaian performers simply failed to impress, or the audience did not know the songs performed? Industry pundits want Ghanaians asked to move beyond their comfort zone and invest in promoting their works in other markets.
Well, so that's how it went down in Nigeria, ending the entertainment news. But Natalie, what do you think? I mean, you said a few minutes ago that, I mean, you can't even think that was deliberate. You can't imagine that all these people from
these
home.
Are people from their homes.
Yeah,
they're obviously not going to all agree to snub Ghanaian performers.
Exactly.
It just means Ghanaian performers need to do their work. It's quite pathetic, honestly.
These are our best acts.
These are stars, our superstars. I mean, look at Stonebwoy on stage.
It brings to the fore how we promote music
in
our sub-region, because Nigeria is far bigger market than.
You think the focus is too much on the West to promote, you know, the works in the West rather than the Western region?
I think we don't promote Ghanaian music in Nigeria. They are not known to the Nigerian consumers. I think we should do more about that. Certainly. The market is there for a taking. Nigerians can promote their music in Ghana. We got to go there.
Yeah, I know a lot of Ghanaian artists have complained about limitations with promoting Ghanaian music in the Nigerian market and all of that. It comes down to legislation, like
legislation, the business of music, the law of music.
Exactly. Well, you have seen, for example,
Lagos alone is bigger than Ghana. The population of Lagos alone, Nigeria is far bigger market.
That argument is quite valid as well.
So we need to look at it from a bigger perspective.
There's work to be done. Right?
Well, the conversation continues on 3news.com. My name is Miriam Osei Ajman. Thanks for watching.
Certainly.
And I'm Isa Moni on News 360. We are glad for your company.
I'm Natalie Forth. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely evening.